Hey everybody, MisterBriGuy here for a quote-unquote filler episode of Pokemon Ranger. What I'm going to be doing here is telling you where to find the rare Pokemon that you can find in the post-game of Pokemon Ranger's story mode. Most of these Pokemon are clearly hidden through caves and had to go through, like, various obstacles, like trees and bushes and... or they're just appearing out of nowhere, so I'm gonna have to jot down every single one, even with the Pokemon that I missed throughout the playthrough that I've been doing, especially that one Growlithe that I missed at the Dusk Factory. So, if anybody's up to speed with this, or if anybody has been caught up with this Let's Play up until now, then you know which ones that I missed, and you know where to find them if you will play this game. So I do believe the first one is Haunter, which is found at the Dusk Factory, or in this guide says the Night Duty Factory. Haunter starts appearing in the Night Duty Factory after the end credits roll. Enter the factory from the left entrance and enter the left door. The room will be filled with Haunters. Like Ghastly and Gengar, it will also swallow your team members if they get caught up in it after a certain period of time. So either leave quickly or challenge it. The next Pokemon was Growlithe, which is the one I missed in the Dusk Factory. All you needed was a Makuhita or a crushing Pokemon to destroy the box that fills the hole in on top of it, so you can fall in and get the Growlithe, in which I didn't do earlier. The next Pokemon that I got was Victory Bell. Victory Bell is found near the entrance of Zone 4 of the Lila Forest, or if I could see what it's called, the Lyra Forest. Yeah, I think it's called Lyra Forest. And only appears after the end credits roll. Like Weepin' Bell, it will only gulp you down and throw you back to the entrance of Zone 4 if it catches you, so approach it from behind to challenge it. It's not really that... Some of these Pokemon, too, are not really that hard, too. Except for the next one, though, which is actually Venusaur. One of my favorites. Venusaur is also found in Zone 4 in the Lyra Forest. When you reach the meadow where there are Hoppips, Pikachus, Cyndaquils, and Beautiflies, there is a bush towards the top that requires level 1 cut to clear. Venusaur is found inside that little cave, so if you find like a Scyther nearby, go get it. The next Pokemon that I got was Shedinja. Shedinja appear at the very end of Zone 4 in the Lyra Forest, next to the tree which holds Murkrow from earlier in the story. It teleports around in the area, so you may have to chase around it, and it may catch up on you unexpectedly. The next one that I got was Typhlosion, which resides in Zone 3 of the Lyra Forest, in a lower path near the entrance of Zone 4. It is hidden behind a bush that requires, as well, level 1 cut. Beware of the Weepin' Bell near this bush. It may throw you back to Zone 3 entrance if you get caught up. The next few Pokemon that I ran across from was the Doduo Capture Challenge. Well, some of them. The first one that I got was Fearow. Fearow only appears in the plains if you have beaten the high score of the Capture Arena in Fall City, which took me a while to do. Like, remember that episode where it took like a bunch of tries to do? Which I cut most of it out. You have to actually beat that high score in order for Fearow to appear. Fearow will be to the very north of the plains. It may not fly down to meet you, so run into a spoink next to it, when it is just next to you, it will be drawn into a battle screen as well. Or if it's low enough to the ground, you can actually touch it like I did with Doduo. The next one that I got was Gardevoir. Gardevoir can only be found at the Cycla mountain range, but you can also make it appear here by capturing 2 Kirlias. It does duplicate in 3s, so you have to quickly capture it just in time. But I think it may be easier to get it through the mountain range, like up north. The next one that I got, which was a little bit of a challenge, was Skarmory. Skarmory only appears in the plains if you have beaten Kamuri's high score in the Sea Capture Challenge in Summerland. It will only appear towards the very right and will swoop down to you upon seeing you. It usually flies very high too, so you have to wait for it to droop down and capture it quickly before it uses its whirlwind attack. The next one that I captured was Slowpoke. In order to make Slowpoke appear, you must first capture the 2 Abras. Slowpoke will then appear in the plains on the southern side near the middle. This next one that I came across was possibly one of the trickiest ones to find in the Plains Capture Challenge, which was Doduo himself. Doduo is quite tricky to find and requires quick capturing skills because you must capture 2 Gardevoirs, and to do that you must first capture 2 Kirlias. Doduo will appear in the southern side again, just outside the trees. And then the last one that I went through for the capture challenge was Dodrio, the evolved form of Doduo. Dodrio only appears in the Plains Challenge if you have beaten Joe's high score in the Plains Capture Challenge. It will appear on the bush towards the very left, just walk straight down from the entrance. Which was also a bit of a doozy because it runs very fast and can escape very quickly. So moving on into the overworld, the next Pokemon that I came across was Meganium, which has the most circles they have to go around this Pokemon. Meganium appears in the Bug Forest of the Olive Jungle, and only after the end credits roll. It requires a shocking 20 plus circles to capture, so use fighting type Pokemon assists is quite useful here. So using fighting type Pokemon assists is quite useful here. Shocking it with Plusle or Minun will not do because it's grass type. This next Pokemon that came across halfway through Meganium was Oddish. Oddish is found near the entrance of Olive Jungle, but it requires a level 1 Gust to unearth, so you can't capture it until after the end credits, where you can bring in a Pokemon with level 1 Gust from another area, like Swellow. This next Pokemon that I had to go after, and it lives at the very deep end of the jungle ruins where Entei used to be, where you had to encounter him the first time, was Arcanine. Arcanine lives deep in the jungle ruins and appears where Entei once was after the end credits roll. Go through the 2 Slugbuzz and 1 Make Cargo, and it should be waiting. It has level 3 Fire too, so it's useful for bigger challenges. This next Pokemon that took me a long time to go through across the land, getting lost and everything through the caves and stuff, but the next one is Metagross. Metagross appears in the Team Go-Go headquarters after the end credits roll. It is at the very end of the room, and you might have to challenge it together with the Beldums next to it. This took a while to capture, just like Tyranitar. Like the Tyranitar family that I had to go through. Because this Pokemon also requires more than 25 circles to go through. And luckily for this one, I was able to shock it with Minun. This next Pokemon that I had to get was Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan lives in a cave at the Sakura mountain range, next to the field and pond where you find Poliwhirls, Quilavas, and Nuzleafs, and one Arbok roaming around. Brave the cave entrance with a Pokemon that has level 3 breaking, and it should be waiting inside. The next Pokemon I went to go get was Exploud. Exploud appears in the Panula Cave after the end credits roll. It lives in the middle section of the cave, but you will certainly come across it if you pass through the cave once, from entrance to exits. But I had to go through exit to entrance to go find it. It's where the Whismere also appear. This next Pokemon took a while to find, and it accidentally led me to Regice, which I'll probably hint in the next episode, or show in the next episode, to find this one, which is Torkoal. Torkoal lives in the junction between Crocatunnel and Panula Cave. From the Panula Cave, bring along a Pokemon that has level 3 burn, and go to the floor near the exit where you see 2 golems guarding a room. Enter that room and melt down the ice block there. Go down past the Crobats and enter the small cave opening on the right. It will lead you to the room where Torkoal is. Alternatively, in the Crocatunnel, go to the damp room inhabited by Bellsprouts and a Machop. There is a cave to the north where a Magneton is. Behind the Magneton, there is a plant which requires water level 1 to grow. This too leads you to the room where Torkoal is. Also, if you go to the room in Panula Cave to get the Torkoal, very close by is where Absol is. Absol appears in the Panula Cave after the credits roll. Like you access Torkoal from the Panula Cave, bring a burn level 3 Pokemon, melt the ice block blocking the path to the Crobats, but exit from the room south instead of entering the small cave opening on the right. Absol will be waiting outside. This next Pokemon that I had to go get near the Fire Temple was Vileplume. Vileplume stays in the earth in the Sakura mountain range, or Sakura mountain range, near the entrance of Fire Temple. Unearth it with a Pokemon that has level 3 Gust after the end credits roll. You would have to find an Altaria nearby to wake up Vileplume. I somehow missed this Pokemon very randomly too on my journey through Pokemon Ranger, which was Wartortle. Wartortle is found around probably Zone 2 or Zone 1 in the Plains area, near an Ivysaur nearby a river. All you needed was like, I think level 2 or level 3 breaking Pokemon to break a rock and will jump out of the water. This isn't a rare Pokemon too. This next Pokemon was Parasect. Parasect is found inside the Zubat Cave in the Crocatunnel. It is there right from the start, but requires Gust level 2 to unearth it, so it isn't accessible until after the end credits roll. Bring a Pokemon like Swellow to find it. It is near the cave where the Hariyama's were. This next one that I found after Parasect was Dugtrio. Dugtrio is found in the deepest cave of the Crocatunnel. You go there by first going into the Zubat Cave, cross the small river on the left with a Tangela that has the ability cross. Clearly though, I think Tangela is the only Pokemon that can use it. Then travel downwards. You will see a big boulder that requires level 3 break to clear. Dugtrio is found in the path ahead, with a bunch of Diglets. This next Pokemon required twists and turns at the underground waterways is Feraligatr. After you enter the building which entrance is a water pipe, Before leaving, go to the racks on the right with a Pokemon that has Cross. There will be a block of metals requiring level 2 burn to clear. Walk onto the small platform the road leads to, and Feraligatr will pop out from the waters. And shortly nearby the waters of Feraligatr is Squirtle. Squirtle lives in the underground waterways near Feraligatr. It pops out from the water in the racks leading to the metal obstacle blocking the path to Feraligatr. This next set of Pokemon that I went through coming across the sea near Fall City was the Sea Capture Challenge in Summerland. The first one was Horsea, which is not a rare Pokemon. You just find it near the Camerupt structure. The next Pokemon that was also not rare, but can be found in the deepest part of the waters, is Remoraid. They're pretty easy to find. Another Pokemon that is also not rare that I found in the deeper part of the waters near Remoraids are Octillery. I'm pretty sure you can find Octilleries if you catch at least 2 Remoraids. This Pokemon took a while to get in the Sea Capture Challenge was Pelipper. Pelipper appears near the light tower in the middle of the sea, but it will only hover around and you must run into another Pokemon near it, and hopefully draw it into the same battle screen. Pelipper will only appear after you've beaten Kamuri's high score in the same challenge. This next Pokemon that I found a little bit hard to get was Seadra, and I'm pretty sure you have to find it by getting at least 1 or 2 Horseys. This one was a bit of a doozy to find, but also silly for it appearing in the Sea Catcher Challenge, was Psyduck. Towards the bottom left, there is a shadow casted on the waters by a sunken ship. Psyduck will appear there after you have captured 2 Starmies, which won't appear until you have captured 2 Staryus. So in other words, quite a long chain reaction here. These next Pokemon at the Sea Capture Challenge come in groups in the right side of the deep waters, which is Lovedisk. Lovedisk live in the right patch of the darkened waters, but the waters are usually murky until you have captured a few Remoraids on the left patch of the darkened waters. Lovedisks often appear in groups, so you might have to capture several of them together. These next 2 and last remaining Pokemon in the Sea Capture Challenge were a bit of a ruckus to find. One of them is Mantine. Mantine lives right in the left patch of the darkened waters where Remoraids and Octilleries are. Capture 2 Octilleries and 2 Remoraids to make Mantine appear. This is clearly a Pokemon Ranger in the Temple of the Sea reference here too. And the last one that I had to get was Wailmer. Wailmers will appear where Goldeen and Seaking are. Only after you have captured 2 Seakings. This might get tough because Seakings won't appear until you have captured 2 Goldeens. This next Pokemon that I missed, which wasn't a rare Pokemon, is Ninjask. Ninjask appear in Zone 2 in the Lyra Forest, and can only be found inside the trees. Using Fampi's bash move will make it appear. And can be a bit pretty hard to find or even capture because it probably has its speed boost ability and really fucking fast. As you can see by my attempts here on trying to get it. I would at least need to get a Pokemon with Ninjask for it to be captured. And very quick cat-like skills. Not very cat-like. This next Pokemon that I forgot to go get in the Dusk Factory was Porygon. Porygon also lives in the Night Duty Factory after the end credits roll. Again, enter the factory from the left entrance and enter the right door instead. It will be invisible, however, but you can make it out its silhouette moving around in the dark room. This next Pokemon that I had to go get was Gloom. Gloom lives just behind the jungle ruins and requires level 2 Gust to unearth. Bring a Pokemon with level 2 Gust like Swellow from another area to capture it after the end credits roll. And the last Pokemon that I had to go get to complete the roster, or browser, before getting Snorlax was Charmeleon. Charmeleon also lives deep in the jungle ruins after the end credits. In the same room as Charmander, you will need a Pokemon that has level 3 water to cool down the lava blocking the way through. And with that, finishes up the filler episode of Pokemon Ranger here, trying to get every single Pokemon in the browser. So next time on Pokemon Ranger, we're going to be capturing the Regis and attempting to capture them. like what else do I need to do as a Pokemon Ranger at this rate? But anyways, take care everyone.